How's it going, everyone? My name is Jamal DeShazer, and today I'll be presenting to you my topic on African blues and the music of Ali Farka Touré. I'll just start off by saying how most people think blues is an American style, and I'll just show you how the blues actually has deep African roots. I'll focus on how Ali Touré connects traditional music from Mali with what we call American blues. Who is Ali Farka Touré? Ali Touré was a musician from Mali in West Africa, near Timbuktu. He became one of the most famous African musicians in the world, though. He won 3 Grammy Awards, and Western people call him the African John Lee Hooker. However, he didn't like being called a blues musician. He said, "To me, blues is a type of soap powder, and my music is older than the blues." When he heard John Lee Hooker, he said, "This belongs to us," meaning the roots are African. Touré's music comes from traditional Malian and West African music. He sang in African languages like Songhay, Tamashek, and Bambara. That shows he wasn't changing his music to impress Western audiences, though. The rhythms, the scales, the emotion in his songs all came from long African traditions. This made his music very, very authentic. What was his music style like, some may ask? First, he uses pentatonic scales, and his guitar style was very repetitive and hypnotic. He plays patterns over and over to create a trance-like feeling, and he also uses his guitar and maybe one other instrument in most of his pieces. Even though he uses few instruments, this music still feels very emotional and deep, and this is why many people hear his music and think of the blues. This first song is I Do from the album Talking Timbuktu. This album won a Grammy, and it's a collaboration with an American guitarist, Ry Cooder. While listening to the song, just listen out for the repeated hypnotic style that he presents. And here the singer is African and singing in an African language. Now, in that clip, you can hear how close it feels to the blues. And instead of copying American blues, Touré is bringing out the original African side. Alright, the second song is called Ruby with Toumani Diabe. This song is from his album Ali and Toumani, which was released in 2010. This is with Toumani, who was a famous kora player and played a kora, which is a 21-string West African harp. This track shows 2 African instruments working together, which are the guitar and the kora. Listen to how they trade musical ideas back and forth, and neither one is louder than the other, so both are equally important in this song. They share the spotlight equally, and this shows how African musicians can use Western instruments and still keep a traditional identity. you can probably see how the music feels calm and maybe complex, if you would say. You can hear how the guitar and chord fit naturally together, and this just shows the post-colonial African music and how it mixes old and new but stays African at its core. Now this third song is also from his album Talking Timbuktu, and it is also another song with Ry Cooder, who he won the Grammy song with. It is called Diarabi, and is a traditional song which is played on the Ngoni, which is a West African lute. And the older versions don't always don't always have a clear melody, but he uses the guitar to bring the melody out very much clearer. He keeps the traditional scales and finger picking style, but puts them on a Western guitar. This sound feels very intense and emotional, and I'll just have you guys listen to it from here. And this example that I just showed was just an example of how Touré makes the music not easier for the outsiders and just sticks to what he knows. He's showing what he thinks is most important in his traditional songs and is still rooted in Mali. Legacy and impact. The legacy that Ali Touré has is that he was one of the first African blues style guitarists to be famous both in Africa and worldwide. So he has very big impact on African blues, being that he was one of the first to become global with it. He helped inspire a whole Malian guitar scene, and his son, Farka Touré, is also a well-known guitarist who continues to hold the crown and continue the style. Touré's work helped people realize that American blues is deeply connected to African blues, and he also showed where the blues really comes from. In conclusion, to sum everything up, Ali Touré connected traditional Malian music with what we all call American blues. His music shows that many things we hear in the blues, like pentatonic scales, hypnotic rhythms, and emotional intensity, all come from older African traditions. Instead of thinking African musicians copy American blues, we should see blues as part of a long African story. Understanding this makes both African music and American blues more meaningful. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that you enjoy my presentation.